All right, hi everybody. Thanks for clicking on your homework. Today I wanted to cover something we started in class today, but we didn't quite get finished, and we'll kind of continue on with tomorrow. If you were gone today, or if you don't remember, we talked about the law of demand. And remember, the law of demand is very simple. As the price of things go up, demand tends to go down. And as the price of things go down, obviously demand goes up. And that's a pretty simple concept, and I think most of you understood that today. We also started talking about something we call demand shifters. And these are things that can make demand change that have nothing to do with price. Okay? And there were 6 of them that we were going over from the textbook. I want to cover those with you today, and then I'll ask you a couple questions about those on a form that you'll click on later. Okay? So the first one was a change in income. Change in income is pretty simple. Obviously we could see a change in demand based on a change in income just by the fact that if you're making more money, you're more likely to buy more things. Okay, the more money you have, the more money you'll spend. That drives demand up. So as income goes up in our country, usually the demand for products goes up too. And then also individually, just as a person, if I get a raise, I'm more willing to buy more things. My demand for things goes up, depending on what those things are. Okay? So that's change in income. The opposite is also true. If income goes down, then demand starts to go down also. So if my own income goes down, I start to demand less products. And as a country, income goes down, we demand less products too. Okay? So that's our first one. Our second one is change in the number of consumers. Change in number of consumers. Again, I think this is pretty simple to understand too. This is just the idea when we talk about consumers, those are people that buy things. Okay? Anyone who goes out and buys stuff, we consider a consumer. You guys are all consumers. And if that number changes, that can change the demand for a product. Okay? So for instance, when there's a blizzard, okay, no one's going out to restaurants. Okay? That causes the demand for food that's being sold at restaurants to go down. It's not because they changed their price, it's because now there's less consumers out there to buy their product. Okay? And then the book uses an example of a street fair, in the middle of town or whatever. And if there's more people going to that street fair where those restaurants are at, well then the number of consumers has gone up, and that means demand's going to go up also. Okay? So that's change in number of consumers. Let's go to our third one. Our third one is change in taste and preferences. And this one we see all the time, and especially as teenagers this happens a lot because things go in and out of style very easily and quickly for teenagers more so than adults quite often. But change in taste and preferences is just the idea that at different times we're going to want different things for different reasons. And our tastes and preferences change. So like for instance, the music you listened to when you were a little kid compared to what you listen to today is probably very different. You have a change in taste and preferences. That's going to make demand go up and down based on that. Your demand for Sesame Street music is probably down compared to your demand for more popular music today. Okay? So the shifter is change in tastes and preferences. Okay? And again, that's just the idea the more we like of something, the popularity increases, then demand goes up. And the less we like it or its popularity decreases, the demand goes down. Our fourth shifter is a change in consumer expectations. Okay? And sometimes we expect the price of a product to either go up or down based on different factors going on in the world. Okay? And whenever we have different expectations, sometimes that can change demand. Okay? Or sometimes we think a product's going to change for a certain reason, so that can change demand. So a good example of this, I'll go and write that up there, it's a change in consumer expectations. Okay. A good example of this is anytime Apple puts out a new iPhone. Okay? As soon as word gets out, maybe in a month or in a few weeks, that the new iPhone's going to go out, what do you think happens to the demand for that older iPhone? Does it go up or down? Well, due to a change in consumer expectations, the demand for that older iPhone is going to go down. Even though the new one's not out yet and you can't buy it, a lot of people are going to wait to purchase the new one. They're not going to buy the old iPhone. Okay? So that's a change in taste in consumer expectations. Okay? The same could be true. Sometimes their expectations may be like the price is going to go up. Okay? So maybe in a month or so we hear that the price for a certain product is going to go up, maybe for a video game. Well, that's going to make the demand for that video game go up right now because people want to buy it while the price is cheap. They don't want to, if they hear the price is going to go up in a month, we're going to buy it now. So that's that idea of a change in consumer expectations. That's another thing that can shift demand. Okay? All right. I think we got one more left here. And change in price of substitute goods. Okay? Sometimes there's a product that you can substitute for another product that is either cheaper, that's sometimes cheaper than that other product, and that's going to make the demand for that other product go down. Okay? An example could be like iPhones again, if we take that as an example. So let me write this down first. Change in substitute goods. Okay? Now again, sometimes that price changes for the substitute goods. So what's a substitute good for an iPhone? Maybe a, I don't know, a Galaxy phone. You could substitute for an iPhone. If the price of the Galaxy phone is significantly lower than the iPhone, okay, and they have basically the same, they can do basically the same thing, well then the demand for the Galaxy phone is going to go up, and the demand for the iPhone is going to start to go down. So that's sometimes where a substitute good can cause demand to change. Okay? Similar to that, but just a little bit different, is our last one, which is a change in the price of a complementary good. So change in price complementary goods. Okay. A complementary good is different than a substitute good. A complementary good is something that goes with another good. Like you can't really use the other good unless you have the complementary good. An example for me, I play a lot of tennis. I have a tennis racket. A complementary good to a tennis racket would be the strings that go in the tennis racket. It doesn't do much good for me to have the racket without the strings. That's a complementary good. Well, if the price of strings goes way up, what's going to happen to the demand for rackets? It's going to go way down. Okay? People don't want to spend a lot of money on strings. They're not going to buy as many rackets either. Okay? They're a complementary good. Another example of complementary good is gasoline. Okay? What goes with gasoline? Cars, right? You don't really need gasoline without a car. You can't have a car without gasoline. They go together. They're a complementary good. So if the price of gasoline starts to go up, does the demand for cars go up or down? Well, it starts to go down because gas is so expensive, people don't want to buy cars, especially big cars. The demand for hybrid cars, or better cars with better fuel efficiency, is going to start to go up. But in general, the demand for cars is going to go down because it's more expensive to drive them. So that's the change in price of complementary goods. Those are the 6 demand shifters. And if you click on the link to the forum, you can answer some questions about that now. Thanks.